Many will be heading out on the water this Memorial Day weekend, but before you go, safety experts say there are things you can do to prevent a tragedy. And this week is National Safe Boating Week. Joining us, Captain Peg Phillips, the Executive Director of the National Safe Boating Council. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, official start of summer. Why is it so important to talk about boating safety?
Yeah, so it sounds kind of funny in Florida to think we're starting the boating season, right? Because we kind of boat year-round here, most parts of Florida anyway. But in other parts of the country, they're taking the boats out of dry storage. And certainly here in the summer, kiddos are out of school, families take vacation, so it's going to get busier out on our waterways.
Yeah, it's always busy, I feel like. All right, so what are some common mistakes that you see people make?
Yeah, so the biggest mistake we see people make is not wearing a life jacket. So think about a life jacket as putting a seatbelt on in a car, right? If you wait until you need it, it's too late. So if this is stowed in a compartment, under a seat, something like that, too late. And most of the time when people go out on a boat, they don't expect to end up in the water. So just like when you're driving a car, you don't expect to get into an accident. So
that's
go ahead
good
and put
advice.
this life jacket on. This is the easiest way to save your life.
And boy, have they come a long way. You know, they used to be so cumbersome and bulky, but these are not.
Yeah, this is an inflatable life jacket, so it's very lightweight, very comfortable. You will not get hot wearing this. But if you need it, you can inflate it, and it will give you the buoyancy and save your life.
And especially children should have it. I mean, we all should, but really the little ones, good reminder.
Yeah, so for the kiddos, this is more for a youth life jacket, and this one actually comes with the crotch strap, so if they go in the water, it won't lift up over their head. And then these are more with the collar, so for a younger one, keep their head up.
Yeah, okay, wow.
These will also right a child.
Oh, that's so good.
So they won't be face down in the water.
Okay, well, we definitely need to invest in some of these, especially if you're going out. All right, is it getting safer out or more dangerous in your opinion?
So the U.S. Coast Guard statistics for 2024's latest data that we had the lowest number of boating fatalities in 50 years. So that's great news.
That's good news.
We're doing something right, and that's really a combination of legislation and behavior change, right? So that's good. The most recent reports that we're seeing coming out of Florida for 2025, a little uptick in boating incidents and fatalities. So,
and is there a reason behind that, or is it just pure accident?
Yeah, I think it's just increased participation.
Okay.
And people thinking, you know, it's wide open out there, so I don't need to learn the rules of the road. I don't need to learn navigation. But it is just like driving a car. There are actually rules of the road. So really recommend that you get your boating safety certificate. You can go to the FWC website for that and get an approved provider. And in Florida, the law is if you're born after January 1st, 1988, it's required. But of course, we recommend that for everyone.
Yeah, you want to be knowledgeable. You don't want to be caught off guard, for sure. It's very scary out there without that. All right, you brought some tools with you that could really help people. Yeah,
so we're going to go from required to recommended safety equipment, okay? So this is it's called a personal locator beacon. This particular brand is ACR, so it is a one-way communication. So if I get into an emergency situation, I need a rescue, I just raise up the antenna and activate it. It's pre-programmed. The Coast Guard will be there probably within an hour. This particular beacon is a two-way. So this Garmin allows me to communicate. So maybe I'm going to tell you, I will text you every hour that I'm out on the water, right? Or text you when I'm headed back in, kind of thing. So this allows me to to text people and have a two-way communication. But these are really important. Sometimes you hear about people going offshore and disappearing. So if they have a beacon, they could activate that and get an immediate rescue.
Someone would be able to find them through their location.
Absolutely.
That's really important.
Immediate rescue.
So a lot more people could probably be found in these situations if they had that.
Yeah. So many of and that's why I called them incidents, not accidents, because so many of these fatalities are preventable.
Yeah. Okay. And you have some, I like that one.
Yeah. So this, you know, flares are required, okay, but the traditional flares do expire. And then also, it's difficult to dispose of those. So an electronic visual distress signal is an alternative, and this gets really bright.
Here we go.
I'm going to try that, right?
It is so bright. But if at night you're out there, you could show that.
And it flashes the SOS signal. Now, one thing I want people to make sure when they buy a piece of equipment like this is that it is required that it is marked U.S. Coast Guard approved. because we are finding some on the e-commerce sites that are counterfeit.
Okay.
So
that's good to
you
know.
want to check that and make sure it says it's U.S. Coast Guard approved.
So would you use something like that, say if your engine failed and it's pitch black? You'd use your other devices too, but I mean, this could really get someone else, again, to find you quickly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it could alert other boaters too that you need some help.
And what's this? Something
This is
similar?
the same thing, just
Okay.
a smaller device.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then the carbon monoxide. I thought that was a really good point.
Yeah,
Tell us
so
about that.
Looks like, remember the old days when we had pagers, right?
Yes.
So this is a portable carbon monoxide detector, and people don't really think about carbon monoxide building up in an open air environment, but it does. So you're happy to know you have 0 carbon monoxide in this building, but the magic number is 50. If it hits 50 parts per million, that's the danger zone, and if you stay in that area for 20, 30 minutes, you could have a fatality. So especially somebody with smaller lung capacity, a child, I would say seat them towards the front of the boat.
I was going to say, so we've heard of stories where children were sitting in the back near the engines, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What about in the cabin? Is that a concern in the cabin too, with the fumes floating?
I think it is a concern. So I wear this on my belt anytime that I'm out on the boat. And the other thing about carbon monoxide is it's odorless, tasteless, so you can't detect it that way, right? And the symptoms kind of mimic seasickness. So the couple of stories that we've had from families that lost children was they just were tired, they were irritable, they had a headache, so they just told them to just go lie down.
Oh, that's so sad.
And unfortunately, they passed away on the boat.
There's so much you should really know. What do you say to people right now? Because we have so many new residents, people that don't have a lot of experience on the water, or maybe some people who even were born and raised here that have never been on a boat, but it's so simple to take a boat, kind of like a car, and just take it.
Yeah, and one thing that we're seeing a really big increase in is paddling. So paddlers are boaters.
Okay.
And it's so easy to become a paddler. You can go to a big box store and buy a kayak and be out on the water, right? So just take that extra step, get some education, maybe get some on-water training. You can find some through the FWC website or through our website. You can find some good providers.
Okay, last question. We're out of time, but give us your top 3 safety rules for a fun day out on the water. What would you tell people?
I would say always wear a life jacket, check the weather and heed that weather warning, and let somebody know where you're going.
Very important. All right, great tips to remember. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. I feel safer already. So
Thank you.
I'm going to share this information. So important.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We hope you'll come back and see us.
Of course.
All right. Once again, Captain Peg Phillips, the Executive Director of the National Safe Boating Council. We thank her for being here, and we thank all of you for joining us this afternoon on ABC7 Streaming TV.